In the story of the creation of the Quran, Western scholars historically love to praise the Samarkand Quran, but deeper analysis shows that it is far from being complete. We will let Dr. J, of course, unpack that of us. What we're talking about is the Samarkand manuscript found in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Dr. J, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Manuscripts evidence are fascinating because they are hard evidence, hard proof. These are scripts. This is codex. So we're talking about books. A codex is a book, has a binding. These are not scrolls like they had to use with papyrus. These are actually manuscripts that are made on animal skins. All of these are animal skins. Therefore, they're much more durable. Animal skins last almost as good today as the day they were printed. The difficulty is the dates that we put on them are haphazard because you cannot really date the script. You can only date the parchment, as we're going to get to with radiocarbon dating. They could be, you can keep the manuscripts there or the parchments there for hundreds of years, tens of years, years or months, and before you even use them, especially if you keep them in storage, as the Arabs did. Remember, many of the Arabs did not make these parchments. These were all made up by the Byzantines up in the north. And they would then raid their we call them godowns, what do you call them, warehouses, and bring parchments, wholesale parchments, down to Baghdad or to Damascus. And then they would then write on them. But they would take time to do so because they could use them for many other political reasons. And so these manuscripts all start to appear in the 8th century, which is perfect for what we now know as the Abd al-Malik al-Hajjaj context. And so this is not surprising that dates are put there. But the dates they're coming up with, people like Dorosh using paleographical or chronological categories. Now, what's that mean? When you talk about paleographical, you look at the style of the letters. You look at the kind of paper the kind of parchment that is used. You look and see where the animal comes from or what period it comes from. You can use radiocarbon dating for that as well, though it's very inexact, especially for something that's this new. Chronological, you look at the shape of the letters. You look at also what kind of designs are in there. You look and see if there's designs that are there that are similar to buildings. And if they're similar to buildings, that's what they would do. They would put geographical marks on it that were similar to a large building, like the Dome of the Rock or like another big mosque. And then you know when the mosque was built, you know that these manuscripts were made around the same time. Or you even look at styles of writing, styles of letters, like the word al, or the aleph, the dagger aleph. We know when the dagger aleph was introduced, and that's why you then know pretty much that if it's using it, it is either added at a later date or this was in that time, this was well known, that you can date it that way. You can see where you have the tar marbuta and the aleph makshura. They were added and they were used at a northern area, but they were not used in the middle part in Mecca and Medina. Mecca and Medina used a Sabbaic text script, so they would not have had the tar marbuta. They would not have aleph makshura. And so you can look at geographical locations when these scripts were actually introduced on the manuscripts, putting them geographically, and that's why we know almost all of these manuscripts. They all have tar marbuta. They all have aleph makshura. Therefore, they're all from the north. None of them are from the Hijaz. That we can say. Now let's get to this one here, the Samarkand, because the Samarkand is exciting because it is a monumental text. Let's go ahead and look at it, and you can see pictures of it. It is enormous.
And again, monumental, large, mean later development.
And why is it later? Because these are Christians who actually started introducing monumental texts in their Christian Bibles.
Right, and they start to copy that.
And that was only introduced in the 8th century. So that's why you know this is either 8th or 9th century. The Arabs then followed what the Christians were doing, all right? Makes sense, because they are actually getting the material from them. They didn't make this themselves. They didn't have the technology. The Christians had the technology for that. And when you look at this, you can see it is huge. It only has about 8 or 9 lines per page. When you look at you can see it's very unsophisticated, but here's what's interesting. Altıkılıç looked at this, and he called this an embarrassment. He dates it to the 8th century, either 720 or even mid-8th century, and he gives 6 reasons to discredit it. He completely discredits, says, please don't use this. He says, first of all, it has undisciplined spelling. It has different writing styles. So he says it's put together by different scribes who don't agree with each other. It has scribal mistakes. It has copyist mistakes, written by someone with little experience and didn't know Arabic very well. So obviously, in some cases, they probably didn't even know the Arabic. They were just trying to copy from another manuscript with later editions. And it only goes up to Surah 43. There's 114 surahs in the Quran.
And I have the entire images myself. Yeah.
You've got the entire images as well.
Yeah.
Now, here's what's interesting. When we even look, sorry, I didn't need to do that. When we look at the 43 surahs, only one surah is complete amongst those 43.
And that's common, by the way.
That's
in many
Surah
of
6.
These, manuscripts, except for the top copy, you'll find a lot of incomplete surahs in there.
24 of them are partial, and 18 of the 43 don't even exist. So when we say up to Surah 43, we don't mean complete up to 43. We're really only talking about one complete and 24 partial.
If you take them like chronologically, that's what it means, but there's missing parts.
There's missing parts all the way through.
Right.
Okay, so we have to be careful with the Samarkand. It is, in some ways, it's a lazy man's manuscript. I remember when we were in London, my wife and I lived there for 25 years, and they brought it to the British Library. And they had the Samarkand there, and then they had the Sinaiticus there, and they had the Alexandrinus there, and they're putting them all three as the three great codices, two from the Bible, and the great codex of Samarkand. And this is before Al-Takulich, or just about the time that Al-Takulich came out with this book. By the way, let me just say something about this book. The first 86 pages in this book are all written in English. You need to read it.
Which is the introduction, basically.
It's the introduction, and it's all in English, and it describes what they found. You've got to read this, because he just tears to pieces all of these. And this is where you find out about the problems of the Samarkand. And here they brought the Samarkand to the British Library. This was just coming out about that time. And we were reading it, and what they were saying at the British Library was not what Al-Takulich was saying. Al-Takulich was making a mockery of this manuscript. And here at the British Library, they're effusing it and ebullient about it and saying, oh, what a great manuscript. It is a complete manuscript. It has no problems. This is the beauty of the man. And we were hearing what Al-Takulich was saying, the Muslim scholar, who is the only one that really looked at it, completely contradicting what the British Library was saying, which is typical of Western scholars. They will only say what the Muslims will tell them. Had they only read what Al-Takulich, they would probably not even had it on display.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. J. Next time, folks, we'll be talking about something called the Ma'il, or the British Library manuscript, which is a fragment, to be honest with you. It's not like a complete manuscript anyway. All that to say is that we are going to focus on one of each of these early Quranic manuscripts per show. Until next time, have a blessed day. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, Sira International, and click on the bell so that you receive notifications whenever we publish a new video or go live. I would also like to appeal to you to consider becoming a Patreon patron by clicking the link right below. By doing so, you can give towards the production of these videos. There are also other options for you where you can give to our channel. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.